Hi and welcome back to our kitchen. Today I'm going to be making an easy weeknight dinner, my version of an easy chicken marsala that's gluten-free and dairy-free, and it's really easy to do. They think when you get into something that contains wine that it's hard to do. Well, this isn't. It's a nice weeknight dinner, and I'm going to show you how I do it. First of all, I took 2 chicken breasts, boneless, skinless chicken breast, and instead of flattening them out with the mallet and all the other stuff they do to make chicken marsala, I'm making my version. The reason being is I like bite-sized pieces. I don't like to take a piece of meat out of the gravy and then cut it. What's the sense in that? So I cut it up ahead of time, and I took some gluten-free flour. This is 3 tablespoons of gluten-free flour, and I added a 1/4 teaspoon of garlic powder, 1/4 teaspoon of onion powder, and a 1/4 teaspoon of poultry seasoning. You can use sage. You don't even have to put it in if you don't want to. And I'm going to sprinkle it over the chicken. Now, in regular marsala, they take the chicken breasts and dredge them in flour. And what that means is they put it in the flour top and bottom. And I don't want to do that with this, mainly because if I do that or even put the chicken in a bag and shake it, there's going to be too much flour in there because you got 4 sides instead of 2. So I'm going to just kind of mix that up with my hands and get the flour distributed. Remember, we're doing this to make the gravy, and of course you'll see how that's done at the end. Okay, I mixed that up a little bit. I'm going to go wash my hands and I'll be right back. Now we want to turn our Instant Pot on Saute. Now that's a button on the front of your Instant Pot. Pretend that you have a pot on the stove. It's the same thing. That's why they say if you cook something on the stove in a pot on a burner, you can do the same thing in here. Easy peasy, I love it. And then I'm going to add a tablespoon of butter. Now that's plant-based butter because, of course, you know I can't have it, but if you can have it, use regular butter. And the reason behind that is flavoring. People like the flavor of butter. And of course the recipe, I believe, is a French recipe. And I'm going to add, this is optional and this is the bad me, about a tablespoon of bacon grease. You don't have to do this. I just do it for flavor. And we're going to heat that up along with a tablespoon or 2 of oil. Now I use olive oil. You can use vegetable oil, avocado oil, whatever you wish to use. And I'm going to heat this up to where it's hot. It will say hot on the front. And then I'll put my chicken in. I'll be right back. Okay, now we're going to add the chicken in here. The oil is hot. I forgot to mention that I need to add salt and pepper to my chicken. So I'm going to do that right now. And then just a pinch of salt because we don't want to add too much salt at the beginning. As I've been teaching you, taste at the end. That way you won't get too much salt. I also have half a teaspoon of thyme and half a teaspoon of basil that I'm going to put on the chicken too because it's all going to go in right now. I have a flat bottom spatula, wooden. It's worth your money to invest in this because this is what you scrape the bottom of your pan with so you don't get a burn notice. Whoa. Watch you don't burn yourself. Okay, I'm going to let that go. I'm going to just be right back, so don't go away. Okay, we want to cook our chicken down to where it's not even all the way cooked, just to get the outside a little seared. In fact, I should have did this in two batches. But hey, it's easy weeknight dinner. I'm going to take this out with a spoon that has holes in it and put it on a plate. Now I'm not going to put a paper towel on here because I want those chicken juices in the pot. I don't want them on a paper towel. So we're just going to sit the chicken aside right now. And hope I'm not making too much noise for you. Metal on metal. Sorry about that. Looks all nicely seasoned. Smells good. Put that aside right now. We're going to add half a diced onion. Now if you see that you need more oil in there, just add another tablespoon of butter or some more olive oil. Now it's going to start getting yum-yums on the bottom of the pot. Those are the ones that you have to watch for, because if you don't get those off, when you add the wine and the chicken broth, they will give you a burn notice. The bottom has to be very clean. And I'll show you how to do that in a few minutes. I want to get the onions started because they're the ones that take longer to cook. And then we're going to add the mushrooms. Now these are 2 8-ounce packages of mushrooms that's already been sliced. And the question was, everybody knows that mushrooms have dirt on them. Now when you get a big mushroom, you can take a wet paper towel and take off the dirt. That's not a problem. But what happens when they're sliced? I just took a big colander with big holes in it, and first I shook it up and down to get the dirt off, and then I sprayed it. They say not to clean your mushrooms with water because they're full of water, because it'll make them all slimy and stuff. But if you're doing it right before you cook them, I don't see the problem. I'll be right back. Okay, mushrooms have a lot of water in them. So when you cook them, the first time this happened to me, I'm like, what the heck? You know, what is that water in there? And then I learned how to cook things down to where the water evaporates, and then you have the finished product. Now, what's funny about this is because that moisture coming out of the mushrooms, I've already scraped the bottom of my pan. I don't even have to wait till I put the wine and the chicken broth in here. And actually the mushrooms are starting to look like they have gravy on them from the flour on the bottom. So what we got to do next is add some garlic. Now you know us, we like a lot of garlic. So that was about 4 cloves of garlic. Now if you don't like garlic, don't put it in here. I'm hoping to teach you how to change recipes to your taste and take regular recipes and make them gluten-free. And I just follow what they say in the recipes, but I switch things out. Okay, now we're getting ready to put the good stuff in. I'm going to add the Marsala wine first. This is dry. I got it at the liquor store because you can't just go in the grocery stores and buy this stuff in Pennsylvania. And what I want to do is, the reason I put that in first is I want to let that alcohol boil off. So I'm going to wait till it comes back up to a boil. And then, like I say, this is like cooking on your stove. Like you have a pot on your stove. There's nothing hard about the Instant Pot. Okay, now I'm going to add chicken broth. Now don't tell anybody. They'll all be doing it. I put a teaspoon of Dijon mustard in there. As you all know from a lot of my videos, I claim to love Dijon because it adds such a great flavor to anything you put it in. And I'm not talking muffins and cakes. I'm talking savory stuff like this. Okay, next we want to let that come to a boil because we want to boil off the liquid for a while. Like I say, that's the alcohol in the wine, and that will take all that alcohol out. That's why you see a lot of people will boil their reduction longer because of that wine. Okay, we have it boiling in there. Next we're going to add, now this is totally optional. A lot of people put heavy cream in here to make it creamy. And if you can have dairy, go for it. Put the heavy cream in here. It's a half a cup. But I'm adding coconut milk because I can't have heavy cream. And this will make it creamy. And I don't really get any coconut taste out of that. I mean, to me, it tastes good because I've eaten soups that are from Thailand that they use the coconut milk, and I loved it. Now we're going to add back in our chicken. Make sure, there's those juices I was talking about. Make sure you don't splash yourself. That's some hot liquid in there. So very gently slide it in. Okay, that's done. And I want to show you something. I had a bag of parsley that I bought at a grocer, and it came in plastic with holes in it. Well, it snuck down in my produce drawer and dried up. So, not needing to, I have dried parsley. And we're going to add some of this to the recipe. And look how easy it is to do that. This was just an accident. I've got dried parsley over there on the shelf in a bottle, but I thought I'd use this. Okay, now I'm going to stir it up again. Make sure there's no stuff on there's nothing on the bottom of this pan that would make it get a burn notice. And looks like gravy already. I don't even know if I'll have to put the cornstarch in it when we're done. So I'm going to go ahead and make some mashed potatoes after I get this started. Let me show you what I do. Okay, babe. Okay. I'm going to seal it up. Make sure it's on seal. Push down on the lid. And now here's where a lot of times you forget to do this. And I always forgot to do it. When you're done sauteing and you have to go to pressure cook, you need to cancel. Push the cancel button. Because what's going to happen is, this is going to keep boiling. It won't come to pressure, so you need to cancel the saute button. Then go over to the power button and push that. And then you can go up and down on your time. We're going to go for 5 minutes. And then of course you have to release it when it's done. And what you do is you wait 10 minutes because there's a lot of liquid in here. And then you go ahead and release it. And then I can show you how good it looks. Okay, it's done. It looks really good. The gravy needs a little bit of thickening though. So, as everybody suggests when you make this, 2 tablespoons of cornstarch to 2 tablespoons of water. And beware when you start mixing the cornstarch, it's kind of hard to mix at first, but then it all comes out all nice and smooth. Okay, I'm going to turn it back on saute because we want to bring it up to a boil to let the cornstarch work. So I'll bring you back when it's thick, and we'll see if we need to add any more cornstarch. Okay, I added some more cornstarch and water, and look at that gravy. That's pure heaven to me. Okay, what I'm going to do is I made some mashed potatoes, and I'm going to spoon this out and put it over the mashed potatoes, just like that. And I want more juice, more gravy, just like that. And then for the ending, I would take some more of the parsley, sprinkle it over the top, and make it real pretty. I'll be back in a second. Well, this came out real good today. It was an easy recipe. A little bit of chopping, but not as much as if you had the bell peppers and all that to go with it. And I did sprinkle some more dried parsley over the top. It'd be better if you had fresh, but I didn't have any. So I'm going to take a taste test here to let you know what it tastes like. I'll tell you what, adding that little bit of poultry seasoning to this, or sage, whatever you have, made it perfect. It tastes like Thanksgiving Day, is what it tastes like. In fact, I'd like some corn on top of my mashed potatoes. For all you new subscribers, push the button. Come back and see us. I mean, I take regular recipes and I show you how to convert them. And most of the recipes that I convert, you can make without making it gluten-free or dairy-free. I'm just showing alternatives because I take the written recipe and I convert it. I'll see you next time. Bye.